Hello, everyone. Derek Floyd here, Beautiful Now Podcast. Welcome to Chasing the Impossible, the segment where we interview successful people that seem to have done impossible things, and we let them share their story with you, the viewer, so we can let you know that whatever your impossible is, you can do it too. We're always excited to have you here on Chasing the Impossible, and if you like the content you see here, do me a favor and please give us a like and hit subscribe on the page so we can make sure we send you lots of motivational and positive content as often as we can. And most importantly, if you like the content you see, share it with a friend. We want to make sure that everyone stays uplifted, encouraged, and inspired. Our special guest today is an award-winning music producer whose discography works from Britney Spears to Neo to T.I. to R. Kelly and everything in between. Even Scotty McCreery. He's worked from every genre, from rap to R&B to country. And he's been able to be successful in almost every genre he's landed. Let us introduce my friend, Lil Ronnie. Ronnie, you there, buddy?
I'm here, Derek. How are you?
Man, appreciate you coming on Chasing the Impossible today. You good?
I'm good. You staying safe out there?
Man, this crazy COVID stuff and the whole racial tension thing, man, it's crazy right now, but we taking care of it. What about you?
I mean, I'm good. You know, I'm looking at the situation. I'm safe out here, but I mean, sometimes it takes a pandemic to bring the light to everything that's going on. Like, think about it. If you don't have COVID-19 situation, it's going to be the same thing. Like, you have people that's going to work, people that's in school, people that's just doing their day-to-day. Something happens, it gets swept under the rug. But this time, COVID-19 hit and everyone is at home. Everyone has time. Everyone, it's just a focus on it. So it's just an amazing thing right now that it took COVID-19 to bring some light to what's going on in the world.
Never even thought about it that way. I just never even considered that COVID-19 is actually pushed up this racial tension, because we may not have ever really recognized it in the way we've seen it now, but because we're all home, we're all able to focus on the fact that this is happening. Man, that's brilliant. Never thought about it that way.
Well, it's the day-to-day hustle. I mean, all of us have families, all of us have jobs, so it's nothing personal, but we all have our own thing. Like, we all trying to take care of our family, we're all trying to go to the next level. So a lot of times some of these things are just missed, and a lot of times the news is depressing. You know what I mean? So I keep up on politics and watch a lot of news, but then after a while, it starts to emotionally wear on you. So I understand why people don't watch the news. But this time, there's nothing else on. There's no sports. There's no concerts. There's nothing going on that can distract you from what's actually going on in the world. And it's a blessing in disguise.
Wow, man. You look at something like that and you say, well, God uses everything to make sure you see what's going on around
Absolutely.
you. And that's a brilliant direction of how to see that. So thanks for sharing that knowledge, man. I never even thought about it that way. And I'm going to share that with some friends of mine as soon as I get off this call. So knowing that, man, knowing that you see people that are challenged and that are going through so much, and that we're all trying to get past this hurt that we feel, the protests that are going on. I appreciate you took the time to share something positive, because there's enough darkness out there that this kind of segment, I want to put something back out there that has some light, that can tell people, even though it's tough right now, even though you're struggling, you can make it. There's some inspiration. There's some encouragement. You can get through your impossible situation. You can make it, right?
Absolutely. And the bright, the sun and the light for me is seeing all these young people, like, of all races, not just in the United States, but all over the world, coming together. You know what I mean? Like, it's powerful. Like, when you see these young people out there protesting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all I want to encourage is everybody keep the same energy. November is coming. Whoever's over these rallies, please put something together for everyone to come together to vote. So imagine these crowds coming out to vote.
Yeah, our power and our voice is in our vote. All right, man, so let's dive into why we've got you here on the show today. The big thing is that you, being a music producer, you understand the power of music, and that music can heal the soul. It's the universal language. And with so much darkness and going on right now, we could use a little bit of peace from some great music, great melodies out there. And I want to encourage that next Michael Jackson, that next Neo, that next Quincy Jones out there, that they can find their music and find their musical dreams because you did. So tell me a little bit about how you put together or how you formed. What was your dream? Did you always think you were going to be a producer? And how did that articulate? How did that come to your mind? How did you get started with that?
I'll start from the beginning. Music was in my blood. Like my family is a musical family. I'm a PK. So
PK, there it is.
Yeah, I've just been in the womb, always been around music, always been in church. You know what I mean? My dad used to always take me with him everywhere while he was playing. He's a amazing pianist and organist and singer, and just always been around it. You know what I mean? That's why I think it's so important, like to, take your kids around whatever you like to do, because they might pick up on it. So from being in the church, having to play instruments, and then I was able to go to performing arts schools through grade school, through high school. So that was also a big part in my music, So the good thing is my teachers, all my music teachers, it's weird. So my grade school teacher also ended up being my high school teacher.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So
small school?
No, huge schools, but the district, he was just a great teacher. You know what I mean? Wow. So we had the performing arts schools, they go from middle school to grade school, middle school, and high school. So he was one of those teachers that was so good, he ended up moving up to the high school programs. So since my teacher knew my family, he would not let me play the same instruments I played at church.
Oh, wow. And you played at church every Sunday?
Every Sunday.
Yeah.
So piano, drums, whatever was needed that Sunday, I would jump on. And then I picked up woodwinds, the saxophone in school.
Wow. So you were already around music from the get. You really didn't have a choice about that one. That was just all around your world. Your whole family was immersed in music. Your dad was a PK, so you were always playing. But did you always believe you were going to be a producer first, or did you have other interests?
I had no idea I was going to be a music producer. And I give credit to my school and one of my uncles. So in school, we had a class called Applied Technology. So basically we were making tracks in school.
Wow. How long ago was this?
Man, it was when Cakewalk was
Cakewalk Pro Studio.
Yeah, that was my first program. So I graduated in 2001. So the weird thing
2001, man, you ain't number 25. Go on, sir. You're looking all young, you can't be I'm 2001.
Healthy.
So that makes you what, 30, 40? Well, I ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna leave you out there.
I'm 36.
Huh?
I'm 36.
Okay, see, blessings on that.
Yeah. So it was one of them things, like even talking about Cakewalk right now, the music journey was I learned how to make music on computers, and then someone taught me about the MPCs and all that stuff, and now we're right back where I started with technology.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, so with that, and then I had an uncle, his name is Marvin Jackson, and actually he just passed from the COVID, So
oh, really?
COVID has
been blessings.
No, COVID has been a real tough thing for me. I've actually lost 4 uncles.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry.
But he was a real inspiration to me. He had a studio at his house. He opened up a record company called Pro Records. You know what I mean? So I just had all these visuals, but I still didn't know I wanted to be a producer. It wasn't until about middle school that one of the groups that was in the middle school, because everybody had the singing groups and everything, they came up to me and asked me could they buy one of my tracks, and I seen that I could make some money off of this, and pretty fast.
Okay, so you're like, okay, I can make some money making beats.
Yeah, $50. I probably made the track in like 15 minutes. I was like, this is pretty good.
So that's when the light bulb went on. You're like, oh shoot, okay.
This is okay.
But did you? I remember you said I think you played sports for a while as well, though, before you jumped heavy into making beats.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, I give my mom all the credit in the world, because I say she kept me balanced. Like, my father was music, church, and my mother was like, you want to play sports? So I played baseball, I played basketball, I played football, and it gave me an option. You know what I mean? So
So
I ended up
you were a
having,
serious athlete then.
yeah, I had scholarships to go to different schools, but I had to make
What?
a choice. You know what I mean? If it was music, but that was in high school where I could make the choice. But in in grade school and middle school, yeah, my mom supported me in every sport I wanted to do. So I feel if I didn't have sports, I probably wouldn't have chose music.
Wow. Wow. So you were able to experience a few things before you settled
Absolutely,
into one space.
absolutely.
Wow. Wow. So here you are, you fast forward, you're coming out of high school, you have the option to go to college on these scholarships for sports or to go into music, and you chose music. Why?
Yeah, and the or was it was a group uh that was signed that was actually my cousins. Like everybody's we're from Kansas City. Shout out Kansas
KC,
City.
KC, what?
Yep. So they were actually signed to R. Kelly, and they were a group, and I was just making music for them. And actually, a friend got the music to Jermaine Dupri. Jermaine
JD.
Dupri, JD was actually in between his deals from I think it was Sony and Arista.
Mm-hmm.
So he heard the group, he loved the group, and he told me as soon as I get my new deal, I'm going to come back and sign your group, and I'm going to give you a production deal. So I kind of had an option like, okay, do I go to school or do I really take this music thing serious? But I was already um, making a pretty good living in high school off of selling beats independently.
So you were in high school selling beats before you even got to JD. You were already kind of the entrepreneur in its own way at that space.
Absolutely. I mean, I worked with what all we would call local guys, but now they end up being street legends. So Tech Nine, I did a lot of work for Tech Nine, Yuck Mouth, E40,
Yeah, some of the legends.
Mac Gray. Like, so imagine all these guys coming to my house, and my dad's a pastor. So,
Wow,
so
how did that go over?
yo, he pulls me over and he's like, "Man, I need to talk to you. Are you selling drugs?"
I'm thinking, yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like, what?
Like, he's like, all these guys come over with gold teeth. They're smelling like marijuana. Like, what's going on? And I was like, no, I was like, you hear the music bumping all night. Like, I'm just selling beats. And he's like, well, how much you making? I was like, right now, I'm getting $1,000 a track independent. And he's like, all right, I ain't gonna ask you for no rent. Just keep on going, you know?
Pops was like, okay, I see something. I see something.
Yeah, I see something. Yeah.
Man. You know what? That's an interesting part of the story. You really had to grind it out because you had to do your homework before you got to JD. So you being in the studio every day, at home, after school, after sports, you grinding out those tracks was really you getting your homework and just getting your feet wet, right?
No, absolutely. I think that's so important for producers and songwriters. Like that time is so important because you're basically building up your skills. You're basically getting ready for showtime, you know? So like in my process right now, I rarely just make beats. Like I only create when an artist is in.
Wow.
So for me, it's like, oh, it's showtime. Let's go. Because I don't believe you should just throw a whole bunch of stuff on the wall and see what sticks, you know.
Okay.
But that's my process that I'm in currently because I am who I am.
Right.
Before I got to that level, I was banging out every day,
Yeah.
nonstop, 5-6 tracks a day. And that was the time I was learning. I was learning how to make a beat, learning how to work the equipment. And that's the thing about a producer, the difference between a writer and a producer. We have, as a producer, we have to learn how to put our deal on the computer. So whatever we're thinking, we have to be able to express it through a software.
Okay.
And that could be a difficult thing.
Because I hear people say, "Oh, yeah, I'm a producer," and I'm like, "What? What are you doing?" Because I think that term has become so loose. You know what I'm saying? And that you're saying that a real producer, a real strong producer, takes the idea and takes the whole thing out, puts it in the computer, maps the whole thing out, whether it be in Logic or whatever, can really put all the sounds together at one place rather than just the beat, right?
Well, Okay, this is the argument between producers. I mean, I feel there are different calibers of producers, and producer is a broad term. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because some producers technically don't touch a drum machine, a beat, a keyboard, or anything. You know what I mean? They just kind of put everything together. I mean, Puff doesn't touch anything, but that doesn't, take down what
Right.
he actually brings to the record.
Exactly.
DJ Khaled doesn't, make tracks.
Right.
Hitmaker doesn't make tracks, but it's just, so I don't like to, just because I am a musician and just because I do actually make beats and actually do a lot of things, I don't want to discredit anyone else from what
I
they
got
actually
you.
bring to
I
records.
appreciate that. I just think sometimes I don't want to mislead the kids out there that are thinking I'm going to go do this or be this title, and I want to make sure I guide in the right direction and say, okay, this is what I like. I would love to, and if you could echo this, I think the producers, for at least the ones that are helping to make beats, should learn how to read music, or should learn music theory in some way, shape, or form to understand what they're putting together as composition. Do you agree with that or no?
I can't say I 100% agree with it, and it's not because I don't know theory. I actually know theory, and theory has actually gotten me in different doors. And I'll give you an example, because, like I said, I do read music. I can sight read. I can do all of the above. I was actually all state for 4 years.
That's what's up. See,
Yeah, so theory, it works in my world, So I'm going to give why I say that, right? So the example that it helped me is, I have some number one country records as well. I work in Nashville.
country records
So,
too. Wait,
yeah,
what?
I did Scotty McCreery, I Love You This Big.
Get out.
Yeah. Yeah. Jody Messina, like I work with a lot of people in Nashville.
Come on, Nashville. I didn't know you was going that deep, man. Let me just do this. Hold on. Let me just do this. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know you was that bad.
This is where the theory comes in. So I'm in a Nashville session, and the musicians, they're just not getting it right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I hop on the piano. I do this. I'm like, this is how I want it. This is how I want it to feel. And then I looked at it and I start actually reading what they had, which they just had the number system.
Right.
1, 2, 5, 3.
1 3 5 7 1 3, and then that's how they saw.
I start talking their language, and it just totally changed the session. It almost made them feel like I was one of them.
Right.
Like I am a musician. I technically am, but when you see my appearance and I come in with my ball cap, and I might have some jewelry on, they technically don't think you can read music or understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's that's just part of it. But to have that in your arsenal can open up a lot of doors and windows.
So see, I agree with you. So and I'm not saying all these kids have to read music. I'm a songwriter, producer myself. You haven't heard anything from me. I'm not out there big time like you, but at the same time, I know that when I'm creating, it does help to understand how music works together, how melody works together. So just having the tools is always good. I don't say you have to, because there's a lot of producers that don't read
It's one of the things, Derek. I mean, and your company is part to blame for this. You guys make so much awesome and good technology, and equipment and programs and software. It has just kind of fizzled away. You know what I mean? Because you can play something and it actually prints out the music.
Yeah, true that. True that.
They have things that you can basically. It's just all type of software. You can push buttons and it'll show you what the theory is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I can't bash their learning curves, because it's almost like once you graduate high school, how much do you really use in the everyday world?
True that.
So
see, you're teaching me. You're helping me out.
If you're not trying to be a live musician, how much does it really matter?
There you go. I received that. See, you're teaching me today. You're helping me out, man. You're helping me out. So here we go. You started out. You've been in a family that's surrounded by music. you were able to flourish because you played every day. You didn't have a choice. You were in church every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday because Pops was there.
Right.
Mom let you have a balance, so you played some sports. You were able to do other things to come back around to say, okay, now I really do see that there's some value in this music thing. And you started making money. You started grinding it out in high school, really making a lot of beats. You get to a certain point where now you're in a position where you get to choose either school or this career you've kind of built behind the scenes making beats. And you've got an opportunity with JD to go forward. You take that opportunity. Yes. Did you make that move?
I did make that move, and it was a great move. I mean, I built so many relationships during that time. Like when I was signed to Jermaine, that's when I met No ID. He was actually working with Jermaine a lot. Let me see, we had No ID, L Rock, Saint Nick. I mean, you know, Bow Wow is one of my best friends. Like all those relations, because we got basically the youngest guys there. So just all type of opportunities came from that situation. And then with me being in that situation and getting records out, I end up, my same cousins that how I got in with JD, they actually were linked up with the Underdogs with Damon Thomas. So I went, Damon called me. He's like, man, I'm hearing your name. Won't you come down to LA, you know, and let's see what you got. So I actually went down there with Damon, and I ended up staying for 3 years.
What?
Yeah. So,
Wow.
and of course, that's where I met my big bro, Tony Dixon.
Tony Dixon is the dude. I'm just telling you that right now.
Listen,
Anthony
Tony
Dixon.
Dixon taught me so much about the industry and music, and like he's just a tech genius. He's a musical genius. I remember sitting there with Tony, and I was looking at all his plaques, and I was like, man, all I want is some plaques. And he looked at me, he was like, you're going to get them and you're going to want a lot more.
Wow.
And that was him basically telling me, yeah, these plaques are cool, but make sure your business is taken care of.
Yes, sir. And just shout out to Tony. If you're watching this, we're going to make sure you see this. Man, we know you're a blessing. You've been a blessing to me, a blessing to IK.
Man, means so much.
You just fam, dude. Fam on our part.
Yeah.
So blessings. And a humble dude. And a humble dude.
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
straight up. So that's a good thing. Anyway, so here you are. You pull forward. It's now LA. How old are you at this time?
I'm using a fake ID, so I'm 19 or 20, like because they would always leave me, and they was like, "Man, you better do something because we're going out." Wow. So I was a young guy, so I almost was not 21. Most definitely.
So through all this, you have great success early. But as I've learned, and you can tell and testify to certain things, there are times when you have to fall. There's times when you fall as you're going up to
Absolutely.
understand successful. When can you remember a time that you took a stumble and it helped you become better?
Man, it was really tough with me. At the Underdogs, we had a couple of disagreements. You know what I mean? So during that time, I was basically finding myself like trying to figure out what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? And what I got from it is like timing, like you just have to trust God. Like something might look so messed up and you don't understand why this happened. And all I could say is stay focused, stay grounded, keep on doing what you're doing because God has something for you. And a lot of times what will happen every time in my career, God would move people out of my life when they needed to be so another opportunity could come. Wow. So you'll look back at something and be like, man, that's why that happened. If that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here. If this didn't happen with this person, I wouldn't have met this person. So I've just learned in my journey just to be patient and just trust God. Like that's all it comes down to it. Like I can't tell you one exact thing that I did. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. 'Cause I didn't do anything. I did my part, which was grind, learn the software, stay focused, stay humble, stay out of trouble. That's what I did. But everything else was just a line up of God. That's all I can say.
Wow, that's a blessing. That's a testimony all by itself. Let me go. We can go and get church going on up in here if you want to. Now, hold on. You know, because my grandma used to say, just trust God, baby, trust God.
Well, it goes back. I would tell anybody that's that that is trying to go to the next level. I would tell them to look at a documentary called The Secret.
Yeah.
So I might say God, everybody else might say the universe, but
Whatever they say, yeah.
whatever you say, watch The Secret. It changed my whole mental because you'll find yourself doing a lot of the things that it already talked about, but now you'll know how to activate it.
There you go. And I think that when I talk to young people or I talk to people out there that are trying to accomplish something, they feel like if they make a misstep, that they've blown it. And I'm going, no. Your misstep is teaching you something. There's a lesson there. There's something that's supposed to be navigating you through that. So I always try to express people, man, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fall. You're going to learn way more from that fall than you think you are. Just trust me on that one, right?
Yeah, and I tell everybody just be integral in the business. Like, treat people how you want to be treated. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of misunderstandings and relationships and all type of stuff that can go wrong in the business. But if you have integrity, you can sleep at night and everything else is going to come along. Like, it's a small business. Keep your name clean.
Yes,
do
sir.
good business, and everything else will fall in place.
Come on, you said keep your name clean. We don't talk about that much anymore, but you got to keep your name clean, man. You be right. You take care of your integrity. Keep your character right. Your name should come up as gold. It shouldn't be, oh, that dude did this, and this, and this. You don't want that reputation.
Yeah, because, I mean, whatever you do that's a little grimy or slimy in the business, like, this is a business that people don't forget. Like, they can't wait till they have the upper hand. Like, I talk to my team all the time, like, I've been working this long and I can keep building relationships because, you have to do good business. And when you do good business, everything else will come along. And I tell people, your talent is maybe 60% of this business. The rest is your reputation, your name, how you do business. Don't be able to, you know what, this is it's an important statement I'm going to make. You have to give to get.
Come on.
This is this business and what I mean by that, until you're in a situation that you can get 100% of a song, you can get 75%, you can get 50%. Don't be afraid to give the person that didn't have anything to do with the song but is in position. Don't be afraid to give them 10%. Don't be afraid to give them 5%. Don't be afraid to take care of them or give them a manager percentage of the income. Don't be afraid. So you most definitely have to give to get in this business until, and I still give. It doesn't matter to me.
That's what's up, man.
It's going to keep on coming.
But and what we would say back in my places, you planting seed. The more seed you plant, the more you got crops growing. If you're not planting out there in people, if you're not planting in people and things and situations, circumstances, don't expect to harvest. You can't reap where you have not sown. That's scripture.
Well, I see a lot of young people make the mistake, or young producers, that, someone asks for 5 or 10% and they just like blow their wig. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, it's one song.
Yeah.
But this person that you gave that 5 or 10% to are going to come back for 5 more songs.
Right.
Or 6 more songs.
There it is.
They're going to call you on every project because they know that you're willing to give something as well.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's
well, man, even as you've curtailed all this, and I've seen your story arc now, as far as you starting as a PK, going through the music, going to sports, coming back to music, meeting JD, going to LA. Your story arc has been gorgeous, and you've had your bumps in the road, but you've come through because you've planted well, you've been good to people. This all to me just looks like the process, and you trust the process. This process happens every day, right?
Absolutely. You have to trust the process. Man, this is a business that you have no choice. Because if you don't, you're going to be stressed out. You're going to get in a zone that you don't even want to create. So that's why it's important for us as musicians, producers, and writers to keep a clear mind and trust the process, because it'll beat you down. And if you let it, you won't even be creative anymore.
Wow. Well, last thing, man, and I appreciate you, again, just taking the time to talk to my subscribers and talk to me, because I'm enjoying the conversation myself. you talked about doing country. So
Hmm.
you went from maybe R&B, hip hop, all the musical genres you were working with, and now you've expanded, you've grown. Talk about growth when it comes to the process.
Well, the important part of growth is not letting anyone box you in. If someone box you in or you let people box you in, you can't grow anywhere because they won't let you grow. So the important part for me was to keep on, knocking down the barriers or keep on striving for something else. My goal was always to have a number one hit in every genre.
Wow.
So
Have you accomplished
that's
that?
I'm pretty close. I haven't done rock, but I don't know if that counts. But yeah, gospel, pop, R&B, rap. I've had number ones and all those.
And now you got country.
Yeah, country. I got a number one.
So, and that was Scotty McCreery.
Yes, Scotty McCreery.
And what was the other artist you talked about?
Man, it's so many. Like I'm in Nashville all the time. Like
What?
Nashville is a part of my world. So we have the hubs, and I say it's L.A., Nashville,
In New
and
York.
Atlanta.
Or in Atlanta. Okay.
I don't
Okay.
even feel New York is a hub anymore. I feel New York is a business hub. I
Yeah.
don't think it's a creator hub.
Okay. So you're saying L.A., Atlanta, Nashville.
Yes. And then you have the spots where you have New York that I'll go up there with Jerry Wonder. Shout out to Jerry Wonder at Platinum Sound Studios.
That's what's up.
And then you have Miami. So
Yeah.
so to me those are vibes that you can jump to,
Hmm.
but the creative hubs where everything comes out of musically is LA, Atlanta, Georgia, and Nashville.
Yeah, and I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, so we're a little bit further away from it, about 6 7 hours. And I got a brother that moved to Nashville to become a songwriter, so hopefully he's
Mhm.
watching this one, checking it out, because he's been grinding it out for years too. And just knowing that there's such great artistry, such great producers, such great music coming out of Nashville, it's a great
Yes.
town. I completely agree. I mean, it's like a lot of the real musicians go there to really get it, to grind it
it,
out, to be
it,
done.
it's amazing, man. Shout out to Nashville, all the musicians, producers, songwriters out there. Like Nashville is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where we're talking about the difference between producers. Nashville is one of those towns that when I do country music, I'll just lay a simple piano and a guitar, and then I'll go to Nashville and just sit back and then just watch them do their magic.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like I basically can get like 5 or 6 songs done. I say the Nashville versions. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, it was so crazy because I'm just used to playing everything, doing everything, and in Nashville they might cut your record over 5 times.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
5 times.
Wow.
And this was a learning curve for me. And then you'll have to split producer credits with the so-called new producer
Wow.
that played exactly everything you already played. So that was a learning curve too. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I was like,
Okay.
what do you mean? This is the same guitar I just played.
Yeah.
But certain artists like certain producers to do certain
Yeah.
things. So listen, it's a nonstop learning curve in music.
Well, man, I have so enjoyed just having this conversation with you, man. I mean, even from start to finish, and just knowing that you're a good brother that's just trying to get it done right, and you got integrity and character, which all means so much to me. And I just pray continued success over your life and blessings over your life, man. And obviously, you're a giver, so it's going to come back to you either anyway. It got nothing to do with me. You're a giver. That's going to make the big difference. And
No, absolutely. And like with my new studio I'm building, I'm in the office right now. I'm doing a 5-room studio in Alpharetta, Georgia. It's called Enor Music. I'm going to have programs for kids that they can come out here, enjoy the studio, learn anything they want to learn, Pro Tools, Logic,
nice.
Ableton, and just give them that head start that I had in performing art schools.
And last thing, man, if anybody is watching this video wants to get a hold of you, maybe to send an email, just maybe, hey, I've got a track I want somebody to hear, or that I'm trying to figure out what direction to go. They just need some advice. Do you have a direction they can send, or is there an email they can send just something?
You could just DM me on Instagram. It's Beats for the Stars. That's BEATS, the number 4 stars. I'll pop up, DM me. I always give out my email and telephone number, to people. I'm not that guy. Hit me up and I'll listen to your music.
Well, man, again, I so appreciate your time. Sending God's blessings to you and your family. I'm looking forward to seeing the studio. I want to be one of the first cats to jump in there and play.
Absolutely.
I got to come get my groove on. I got some tracks for you. You don't know, but I got something for you. You don't know.
Load me up.
You don't know. And everybody out there watching, thank you for taking the time to see Chasing the Impossible. We hope it inspired you and encouraged you today to do what you do, make your dream possible. And of course, we want you to be safe out there. Wash those hands. Be safe, but most importantly, stop the violence, increase the peace. Let's get this thing dealt with this racial tension. Let's get this over with as well. Let's push through this together as one people, because we can do this together, y'all. Let's just love each other, right? Love one another, right, my man?
That's right.
And hey, please share this with a friend. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys. God bless.